our main man, Howard Eskin. You finally got James Harden out of town, Howard. Go figure.
Well, James Harden should have never come to town. That was a disgrace. Daryl Morey, the guy that makes all those decisions, is a fraud. He had a man crush on the guy. We could have had Tyrese Halliburton, but because Daryl Morey is clueless when it comes to making a team a championship team, that's why we were stuck with James Harden. But, yeah, he's gone. It's old news. Got to move on. That's all right. The Sixers are good enough to get to the second round again this year, so that'll be fine.
You're one of the only guys we respect at Sports
you're
Radio,
an OG.
94 WIP. The little fella, what's his name, John Marks or something, I don't know who the hell he is. He's been chirping up a storm. There's a lot of guys who are fraudulent up there. You're one of the few people we respect out there. So when we talk Eagles and Niners, we talk Phillies and Sixers, we like to go to you, Howard. So explain to me.
I'm in trouble. I am in trouble.
Hey, you know what time it is, Howard. You know what time it is, Howard. You know what time it is. The little fella, we'll have the little fella on at 8 o'clock. I don't know what his deal is.
Why is he so angry?
Well, you know what? Everybody's angry. You know, because you guys, Deebo Samuel must be the biggest dope in the history of sports.
Oh, stop
it. You know, not only does
stop, Howard. Stop.
Deebo.
You got Nick Sirianni as your coach. Nick Sirianni is your coach.
Seriously.
Come on.
Nick Sirianni is better than Kyle Shanahan. I mean, it's not even close. It's not even close.
Oh, my Lord.
Kyle Shanahan blew a 10-point lead in the fourth. Was it the fourth quarter? Was it the fourth quarter?
Sirianni and Shanahan have something in common. You guys blew a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl just last season.
That was halftime. Okay, so you guys. You guys whine about that game last year. The Eagles are past the Super Bowl. Hey, that was a tough game, and they made too many mistakes. They're past that. You guys can't get past anything. You know, it's just you live on the past, and the past is not good enough. So what good is that? And Deebo Samuel, and he just doubles down and triples down. He is and I'll spell it for him because it's a 4-letter word, and I know that's tough, DOPE. He's a dope.
All right, so let's deal in reality, okay? That game was a hell of a lot closer than you guys wanted to admit with our fifth-string quarterback. And look, whatever you believe in Brock Purdy, I'll get to that in a second. Like, that NFC Championship game was a lot closer. Go back and watch it. It was 7-7 when McCaffrey scored that touchdown midway through the second quarter. That stadium was dead silent. You guys act like that game was over, and we were out there running the backup of the backup of the backup, and we were still slinging that pill. Come on. That game was closer than you wanted to admit.
What were the results? You sound like Cowboys fans now, who are the biggest losers in America. Actually, probably in the world.
No, I think you guys are taking the cake.
I mean, you guys haven't won anything in this calendar year. You keep losing at the end.
Yeah, but you sound like them. They said, they lost to the Eagles, but it was a moral victory.
I didn't say moral.
For MV in the standings, and I couldn't find it. It wasn't there. And so don't give me 7-7 and we lost our quarterback. You lost. And here I'll spell it for you guys. LOST. It's a spelling bee now because 4-letter words are tough for you nitwits.
Well, we just had some.
I love how you laugh at your own bad joke.
Yeah, Howard, you're one of a kind. And truly, we just have some guy named Chuck who was supposedly one of the best callers in Philadelphia, and the guy couldn't spell cat. All right? I mean, seriously. So the biggest dopes are out there in Philadelphia. You guys are just mad because you can't afford to live in New York City. Come on, that's what's really going on.
Chuck thinks he is. Chuck's not a bad guy, but his 15 minutes of fame is now in the minus category. Bryce Harper mentioned him one time, and now he's like all that, and he's the best caller. There are good callers. There are bad callers. At times he's good. At times it's ridiculous and he's a joke. But he is what he is. And that's what we have. When we do talk radio, we have callers that are good, they're bad.
No doubt.
And don't use Chuck as the gauge for Philadelphia callers. Now Chuck's going to be mad at me, but I don't give a damn.
Yeah, what the hell? I mean, the guy's mad at his own life anyway.
We've got the original saltine cracker, Howard Eskin on the air.
Howard Eskin.
The original.
Been doing it for over 35 years, whether it's Fox 29 TV, Sports Radio 94 WIP. So why are the Eagles? How are they going to bounce back? Because a lot of people talk about the snaps they played last Sunday against Buffalo. I'm impressed with you guys. Going to Arrowhead Stadium, beating the Chiefs the way you did. Coming back from in that Buffalo game without Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox. So I guess let's just start there. What is the status of Fletcher Cox? What's the status of Lane Johnson? I know you guys have some injuries to deal with.
Well, Lane Johnson is the best right tackle in football, and besides that, he's a tough guy. I think Lane Johnson will play. I practiced a little bit yesterday, but the injury report for the Eagles yesterday was fiction because Nick Sirianni had already said he wants to give a lot of the players rest because of the amount of snaps that they had to play last week. So will Fletcher Cox play? I think he will. I saw him in the locker room yesterday. He looked like he wasn't walking anything close to how tough it was for him after the game on Sunday. He looked like he was fine, but again, we have to wait until Sunday. So I think he will play, and that's important. I don't think Cunningham, the linebacker, will play, and that's not good for the Eagles, but they'll find a way because once you get a lead on the 49ers, it's over for Mr. Irrelevant. So then he and the coach don't play from behind very well. So that's what's got to happen. But
break down Brock Purdy to me. Why do you feel that way about Brock? Because Brock Purdy's been excellent.
Well, the numbers say when he's behind, his passing percentage is lower. His everything is lower. His quarterback rating is lower when he plays from behind because he's got to throw the ball more, and it's not controlling the game. The Eagles need to get a lead. I mean, you can say that in any game for any team, but the Eagles haven't gotten a lead in the last 2 weeks. So, but in this case, they do because you make Brock Purdy Brock Purdy. And hey, he's done a good job. I'm not going to say that he's not a good. He's been a very good quarterback for you. He's not as good as Jalen Hurts, obviously, but he's been a good quarterback. But they don't play well. The 49ers don't play well from behind. It's the coach. It's the quarterback. It's fact. I mean, I know it's hard for you guys to recognize fact, but it is fact. Oh. They don't play even close to as well from behind.
That's right? The one. So, I'll grant you this. That is the one thing we discussed all season long. Heck, under Kyle Shanahan is what's going to happen if they are behind in the fourth quarter. If they are behind one score. If they are behind three. That is the last thing we need to see from Brock and Kyle Shanahan. There's no doubt about that. But the great thing is they do get leads because they come out fast. And they start fast, and they have a guy in Christian McCaffrey who's running through everybody. So how are you guys going to corral number 23, Christian McCaffrey, who's playing like the MVP of the league?
Well, if he's the only player that has a good game, then that's not good enough. And listen, you do have – the 49ers, you guys have nothing. But the 49ers actually have a good team. I don't want to bring up the Golden State Warriors in that 24-point lead the other night.
Please don't.
I'll let that go.
I do the pre- and post-game show. Howard, it was tough to do the post-game show. I host the post-game show on television. It was hard.
What did Charles Barkley say? They're done. They're cooked.
Well, Barkley never won anything anyway, so we don't worry about him. He's been saying that about us since 2014. We got 4 banners since then.
Okay. Hey, listen, I love Steph Curry. I love that team. I love your coach. In that regard, they were better, but they're over. But the 49ers, if they don't beat the Eagles, they will whine and cry. You guys will whine and cry. I just think the Eagles are a good team. It's really not fair to a team that wins to say they're lucky. And people say, oh, they're lucky.
No, they're a really good team.
Yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the 2 best teams. Hey, here's reality. They're the 2 best teams in the NFC.
Agreed.
And maybe in the NFL.
Agreed.
I think the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl, but they're not as good as either the 49ers or the Eagles. So I think the NFC would win the Super Bowl this year unless something crazy happens. I don't think Kansas City's going back. But the Eagles and 49ers are really good. It's 2 really good teams. It'll be a really good game. And the Eagles are underdogs, and I don't care. And if the players think about that while they're playing the game, it's foolish. If they think about all the trash talk and all the whining that your team has done, that's foolish. You just got to play the game. You got to put Brock Purdy on his ass and then maybe put him out of the game again. So we have another year of whining from you guys. And that's what you guys do.
You know, Howard, I appreciate all of that. And maybe when you guys stop whining about the grass at the Super Bowl, we'll stop whining about Brock Purdy getting knocked out. But here's what I would say to you. I agree.
It has nothing to do with it.
I know. I acknowledge how great the Eagles are. I think they're the best team in the NFC until the Niners can prove that they can beat them. And that doesn't even mean that they can go into Philadelphia in January and beat them in January. Like, they've got to prove that. Like, that's the Eagles have earned the benefit of the doubt. But what is their weakness in your perspective?
Well, defensively now they've given up too many points. So it's just their offense. I think their offense is really good. The quarterback's very good. The offensive line, if it's not the best in football, it's one of the top 2 or 3. The offensive line is good. They have terrific wide receivers. Offensively, I think everything is just fine. Defensively, their defensive line is really good. Obviously, the linebackers, now with the injury to Zach Cunningham, could be a little bit of an issue. I know Debo Dope called Bradbury trash. Bradbury is not as good as he was last year, but he had one of the biggest plays in a game against Buffalo, which kind of turned it around. He rope-a-doped Josh Allen, who probably had maybe his best game of the year. He rope-a-doped him into an interception, and it turned the game around. So he can still make plays, but there's no question he's not as good as he was. So, but the secondary, and I don't know whether you guys said it or a player said it, that their secondary is only okay because of the defensive line. Well, I'll go back, and I was at the Super Bowl when the Patriots were undefeated, and I saw the tape, and I listened to players. The secondary for the Giants was average at best. I won't say mediocre, average at best, but they had a great defensive line. Mm-hmm. It's all part of the team. Mm-hmm. So the defensive line is really, really a strength. Yeah. And they're going to put Brock Purdy on his ass, and then they got to create a turnover. So I guess if I say there's a weakness, it's probably the back end of the defense.
It sounds like you guys are sleeping on Brandon Ayuk. You haven't even brought up Brandon Ayuk. He has over 45 catches that has resulted in 40 first downs. This guy is about to have back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving seasons. And on that play that Brock Purdy got hurt, you can't take it back. Hassan Reddick did his job. That's what it is. Joe Montana got knocked out by Jim Burt back in the mid-'80s and Leonard Marshall in the late '80s. So, I mean, that's part of the game. But Ayuk, if you look at that route, Bradbury was burnt toast. So how are you guys going to – is Darius Slade Jr. ready for Brandon Ayuk?
Well, you can say that about are you guys ready for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith?
Yeah, Mr. Four catches 35 yards in the last 2 games.
I mean, I'm very worried about those wide receivers.
Devontae,
he's a problem.
And he had to – well, yeah, so if it's not one, it's the other.
Yeah, I agree.
So you can't say – that's the way it works. If somebody's going to double a receiver, then you just go to – you can't single cover either one of those guys and be successful.
Dallas Goedert going to play,
that's
Howard?
The difference.
Dallas Goedert going to play?
I would say probably not. He wants to play. He wants to play. He will play against Dallas. I think the team wants to keep him out just to be sure.
Let me squeeze in here before you get out of here, Howard. I find it ironic that you guys, just as a whole, dismiss Brock Purdy. Isn't he everything that Philadelphia loves? The underdog, the guy who was counted out, gritty as hell, better than what you thought. Like, I get it. He's a Niner, so it's hard to respect. But doesn't he kind of symbolize everything that Philadelphia loves, being the underdog?
I wouldn't disagree with that. Okay. But he's not in Philadelphia. He's with you clowns. So it's just Brock Purdy is to do what he's done and accomplish what he's done. Heck, Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick, so nobody really He was the 3rd pick in the 6th round by the Patriots that year. And by the way, I'll throw you guys a little bit of a bone. Joe Montana is the GOAT.
Oh, I know. I say that all the time. These guys all pivoted to Tom Brady.
That's like saying the sky is blue.
Yeah, come on, Howard.
Duh.
We know that. We know that.
Yeah, but the world says that Tom Brady's the GOAT. No. Joe Montana's the GOAT.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'll leave you guys have a little good feeling coming out.
Oh, boy.
Because and this will be our time. So it's a 4:15. So at 7:30 Eastern time, you guys will likely be crying again. So I just, it'll be a little earlier for you guys, time-wise out there, except for the bozos that are coming here. But I don't even know who's coming here, but that's all right.
We won't be coming around. We won't be coming around. So my guy Joe Shasky put out a video right now, and it's easy to bait the Philadelphia Eagle fans. They're dumber than rocks. They really are. I'm impressed at how dumb you guys are out there in Philadelphia. We will be back if we have to go to the NFC Championship game. The only reason why I'm not coming this Sunday is because my daughter's birthday is the next day. So I got to stay home.
We got a national softball tourney in Vegas this weekend. It's been on the books for 6 months.
I want a piece of the cake. I want a piece of the cake, damn it. If you're going to a birthday party, I want a piece of the cake.
I got my daughter's 33. I can't miss out on my daughter's birthday. I got to be a good dad.
I thought you were a salty guy. You're a sweet and savory guy?
I'm both. I'm everything you want in a tremendous human being.
Howard, you're a good sport.
Hey, are you wearing the mink jacket Sunday? You wearing the mink on Sunday?
No, because it might rain, and it's going to be in the 40s. Ooh. So it's going to be in the 40s. I'm okay with that. Right. It has to get into the 30s for me to wear the mink coat.
Oh, excuse me.
Last week was not fun. It was cold. It was wet. I got to stay down there. But it was a win, and that's all that counts. And, you got to suck it up. Hey, listen, I played with a broken leg for 5 games in the Super Bowl year. I worked on the sideline.
You sound like
I had a broken leg for 5 games. I didn't tell anybody because I wouldn't have been allowed to be down there. So I didn't need a cast. But you know what? Tough guy, good guy, whatever it is, I have a sense of reality, and unfortunately in San Francisco, you guys don't. Hey, by the way, where did the SEALs go at the wharf? Did they leave or did they come back?
Oh,
they left you guys because they couldn't stand you guys a couple of years?
No, they're here.
They're
back, Howard.
Yeah, they're there,
Howard.
and they still smell.
Nice try, Howard. They're still around. I just took my daughter to see them a couple months ago. But, hey, just let me know how the interview goes with Devo after he scores 2 touchdowns on Sunday.
If he scores 2 touchdowns, I'll kiss your ass.
I don't want your lips on my high yellow ass, Howard. I don't want your lips on my ass, Howard. All right, man. Have a good one.
The legend.
See you later.
Tell Jesus we said hi.
Howard Eskin.
That guy's been around since dirt.
Hey, man. You talk about a long career. He just enjoyed his 35th anniversary show back on August 30th in 2021. He's been in the game for over 37 years, dude.